Hey guys, this is EJ Hall with the Wolverine.com, and today we're going to be breaking down the 5 highest ranked Michigan commits based on On3's new rankings, which dropped this week. If you haven't seen them, you can check them out over at On3 and the Wolverine.com. If you aren't a subscriber, you can subscribe today for $99.99 for 1 year or $9.99 for 1 month. That gets you premium insider recruiting information, team information, basketball recruiting, NIL, transfer portal, and so much more. Plus, you get to be part of a great message board community over on the Fort with more than 8,000 unique individual users. So sign up today for $99.99 for 1 year or $9.99 for 1 month. All right, guys, like I said, we're going to be breaking down the 5 highest ranked commits based on On3's rankings update for the 2024 recruiting class. The highest ranked commit per On3 is Jadyn Marshall, 4-star running back out of Archbishop Moeller in Cincinnati, now ranked as the number 2 running back nationally and the number 31 overall recruit in the country. If the rankings ended today, Marshall would actually be in that 5-star range. Normally, the top 32 recruits nationally are named 5 stars at the end of the cycle. So Jadyn Marshall right up there. He's a guy that can come in and be an immediate difference maker. When you look at Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards, both could potentially be gone after this year. Obviously, Blake will be and Donovan could be. So that would allow Jadyn Marshall to come in and have the opportunity to be the bell cow right away as a true freshman. And he's more than capable of doing that. He has a stout build. He's great between the tackles. But something that Jadyn Marshall's really improved on this offseason is his speed. He had some impressive track times, some impressive 40 times, and that helped him move up in the rankings. I believe he jumped about 40 spots in this update, and that has him in 5-star territory. So really excited to see what he does as a senior, but he's obviously one of the best backs in the country. A big head-to-head win over rival Ohio State. I think Jadyn Marshall is definitely the biggest recruiting victory for the Wolverines this cycle. Next on the list is Brady Prieskorn, top tight end out of Rochester Adams in Michigan. He is ranked as the number 6 tight end in the country, the number 106 overall recruit nationally. Prieskorn did drop 13 spots just outside of the top 100 now. But look, it's a really strong year at the tight end position. I think Prieskorn has an argument as the best prospect in this class. I know I just talked a lot about Jadyn Marshall and gave him a ton of praise, but I think Brady Prieskorn is right there. I personally have him graded as a top 100 recruit. I think he's the total package at the tight end position, and I also think he's the safest bet, right? Michigan consistently produces elite-level tight ends. It's a tight end-friendly system. I think, again, it's a sure bet that Brady Prieskorn is going to come in and have a great career in Ann Arbor. He's 6'5", 225 pounds. He plays in a really run-heavy system at Adams. He's a really willing blocker. He likes to get physical. He can play inline, but they also split him out, and he's a terrific pass catcher as well. So, again, he's a guy you can put inline. You can line him up in the slot. You can line him up on the outside. He's a willing blocker. He's a terrific pass catcher. So Prieskorn just checks all the boxes of an elite level tight end, and that's a big reason why I'm so high on him. Number 3 on the list is Andrew Sprague, offensive tackle out of Kansas City, Rockhurst. He is ranked as the number 14 offensive tackle nationally and the number 141 overall recruit in the country. So before we dive into Sprague, it's actually interesting. On3 only has Michigan with 1 top 100 recruit in Jadyn Marshall and 3 top 150 recruits in Marshall, Prieskorn, and Sprague. Michigan has a boatload of targets ranked in the 150 to 300 range, but true blue chip talent, On3 considers that to be Marshall, Prieskorn, and Sprague. And actually, I think Sprague should be in the top 100 talk. He is the best of the 5 offensive line commits, in my opinion. We're talking about a guy at 6'8", 295 pounds, really athletic for his size. You put on his tape and he gets to the second level well. He buries guys. He has great technique, great in pass pro, but he's also very dominant as a run blocker. He uses his size to his advantage, but he's also quick and nimble. A lot to like about Andrew Sprague. He can play the left. He can play the right. I think he is going to have a dominant senior season and get back into that top 100 range. On3 dropped him a little more than 20 spots, so I think he'll rise back up the rankings with strong performances in the fall. Number 4 on the list is Mason Curtis, 4-star athlete out of Nashville, Ensworth. Curtis is listed as a linebacker, but I said athlete because Michigan recruited him as a defensive athlete. He's ranked as the number 10 linebacker nationally, the number 166 overall recruit in the country. But again, he's really a flex guy. He spent his official visit actually in the edge room with Dylan Roney and Mike Elston going over what Michigan does with its pass rushers. And Curtis can definitely play there. At 6'4", 190, he's obviously on the light side and would need to add a lot of weight. But if you put on his high school film, he does come off the edge a lot, and he's very successful when rushing the passer. At the same time, he can be a traditional linebacker. I saw him play in the middle this past fall, and he was really, really good there. He's great in pass coverage. He's a guy that can get sideline to sideline. In fact, when I saw Ensworth play live, they were matched up against George McIntyre, who is the number 2 quarterback in the country in 2025. And Mason Curtis was a menace on the defensive side of the ball. He picked off McIntyre. He sacked him. He was all over the place playing multiple positions. I mean, he played corner. He played safety. He came off the edge. He played linebacker. So I even think he could be a bigger box safety as well. It'll be interesting to see where his body takes him and how he develops in Michigan's strength and conditioning program under Ben Herbert. What Curtis looks like after a year or two in the program will probably give us a better idea of where he lines up from a position standpoint, but you don't necessarily have to pigeonhole him. You can do what Ensworth does and just move him everywhere. He's that special of an athlete on the defensive side of the ball. And finally, the 5th ranked commit per On3 is Charlotte Providence Day quarterback Jadyn Davis, ranked as the number 13 quarterback nationally and the number 187 overall recruit in the country. Now, Davis has been tumbling down the rankings across most services. On3 wasn't the only recruiting service that dropped him this offseason. Davis is obviously one of the better quarterbacks in the country in a very weak year at the position. He started off ranked as kind of a 5-star by a few services and, again, dropped off from there. But I think, look, Davis isn't a 5-star prospect. He's limited athletically. He's not a guy that's going to make plays with his legs, so he doesn't make up being a shorter quarterback at 6'1.5". But he is a guy that processes things well. He's accurate on short to intermediate routes. He's a great field general, plays with a high football IQ, understands how to dissect defenses and pick them apart. You're not going to necessarily win games because of Jadyn Davis. He doesn't have special arm talent. He has adequate arm talent. Like I said, he's not a guy that's going to scare defenses with his legs. He's a shorter quarterback that moves around okay or pretty well in the pocket, but there's no one true trait where you're like, wow, with Jadyn Davis. But you are like, man, this guy is just solid in a lot of different areas, and he can move a team down the field. So again, I don't think you're going to win a lot of games on Jadyn Davis's back, but you're certainly not going to lose any games. Jadyn Davis simply needs some talent around him, and he's heading into a perfect situation at Michigan where he's going to have that talent around him. You don't need to be a super elite quarterback to win at Michigan. You just have to be really, really good, and Jadyn Davis is that. And he's just a great fit for what Michigan does offensively. I think he's better suited for a pro-style offense, which is what Michigan does. And I think, again, his ability to process, his knowledge of the game, I think that'll help him a lot. I think he's going into a great situation at Michigan. Had he committed to a place like Ohio State where they just sling the football around, I wouldn't have as high expectations for Davis. I have higher expectations for Davis to succeed at a place like Michigan where the offense is a better fit for him. So Davis, one of the more talked about or controversial prospects in the cycle, sits at number 187 overall nationally. And again, the 5th ranked commit in On3's new rankings. For more on On3's new rankings and Michigan's recruiting intel, make sure to subscribe to the Wolverine.com today for $99.99 for 1 year or $9.99 for 1 month. Also, like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for free.